Hello, my wonderful, beautiful friends. I hope you're having an awesome day today, and welcome. Welcome back to r/Entitled People, where in today's episode you'll hear one super long story, where a mom and her son pretty much destroy a 5-year-old's birthday party, guys. It's a wild ride. You guys know the drill. Sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a drink, grab your dog, I don't know, and enjoy the story, guys. Oh, and do hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. Let's dive in. So, this event took place a few years ago, when my little sister was turning 5 years old and I was a teenager. She wanted to have a birthday party at the local Chuck E. Cheese with our small cousins and a few friends. Unbeknownst to us, Chuck E. Cheese is the stomping ground of countless entitled parents and their hellspawn. So, the scene opens up in a typical Chuck E. Cheese. It was a Saturday, late morning, not too busy yet. Now, this particular Chuck E. Cheese has 2 small party rooms, and our party was in one of those rooms. The other party room was empty. We were the only party happening at the particular time. We arrived with my sister about 30 minutes early to set up and make sure we were there before the guests arrived. My mom had purchased the best birthday package they had. Lots of choices of food, a huge bucket of tokens, and a large cake. The room looked amazing with decorations and balloons. And my sister was so excited for her birthday party. She took a few tokens and went with my mom to play a few games before her friends and cousins arrived. She was then approached by a random kid almost immediately, and he asked her and my mom if he could have some tokens. My sister was learning to share in preschool, so she immediately hands him a token with a huge smile. At the same time that my mom was opening her mouth to tell the kid no. We had a lot of my sister's friends coming, and she wanted to save the tokens for them. This entitled kid took the token with a frown and said, "That's it? One freaking token? You can't even do anything with one stupid token." My sister looks confused. She thought she had done something wrong and went to go hand him the rest of the tokens in her hand, about 10 altogether. At this point, my mom stopped her and told the entitled kid to be happy with what he was given. The kid decided to flip her off and told my mom to shut up and mind her own business. He then took off to play a game, while my mom just stood there shaking her head in annoyance. She's been to Chuck E. Cheese before with my sister, and she knows that little kids can be little buttheads when it comes to tokens. She told my sister not to give him or anybody else any more tokens, and they played some games. That's the end of the story, right? Wrong. At this point, the party guests had started to arrive, so they head back to the party room to say hi. In total, we had about 5 of our little cousins and 5 kids from preschool, a total of 10 kids. I knew all the kids at the party pretty well, so I was surprised when a kid that I didn't know, the same entitled kid, walked into the party room and took a seat at the end of the table. My mom immediately looks annoyed and walks over to confront the kid, and she says, "Oh, hi, this is a private birthday party. You can't be in here." The entitled kid in a rude tone says, "My mom said I could come and join the party, so that's what I'm doing. Can I have some tokens?" My mom sighs heavily and says, "Your mom is not in charge of the party, and I'm sorry, but you weren't invited. You can't have any tokens. Please go back to your mother." The entitled kid then says, "She left. She told me to join your party and that you'll babysit me. She'll come back for me later." Now, my mom has this little vein on the side of her forehead that pops out when she's getting really angry, and that bad boy was popping hard when the kid said that. My mom says, "She left? Listen, this party's private. You weren't invited. Can you show me where your mom is? I'd love to talk to her." The kid then laughs and says, "Huh, that's gonna be kind of hard with her not being here." Now, he smirked when he said this, and I was starting to get really angry at the way he was talking to my mom. So I walk over, lean down near his ear, and said, "Listen, kid, this is my sister's party and we do not want you here. Get out." Well, the kid replies with, "You guys are all racist. You don't want the black kid at your party." Yeah, so I want to note that he's black and we are white. So I then point at another 2 kids who are both black and my sister's friend and said, "Yeah, dude, we're not racist. You were just not invited." So the kid then reaches in the bucket, grabs a few tokens, and quickly takes off. My mom starts to go after him, but then shakes her head and changes her mind. He only got a few tokens and he's gone, so she tries to calm down and move on. You can feel some tension in the room as everybody watches the kid leave, but luckily my sister's having too much fun saying hi to her friends and eyeing her presents that she doesn't seem to notice. An employee then enters the room with pizzas and sandwich platters, and the mood lightens as the kids start to eat the food and chat. I've stopped stewing about the bratty kid, and I'm watching my sister enjoy her party while I stuff my face with questionable pizza. I then see someone come into the room out of the corner of my eye, and my temper flares as I see the kid has returned and is reaching for a sandwich from the platter I said, "Dude, what the heck? I told you that you're not welcome at this birthday party." He says, "My mom said I can join the party. I'm hungry." He then pushes an actual party guest aside and continues to reach for the food. I told him, "Listen, kid, your mom does not get to say that you can join the party. Get out." Now, the kid starts to respond, but the employee walks in to see how the food is tasting. My mom pulls her aside and says, "So, this kid keeps trying to join our party. Would you be able to find his parents and hopefully get it to stop?" The employee responds with, "Absolutely. I will take care of it." She leaves the room after informing us that Chucky will be arriving shortly to dance with the birthday girl. So the huge, creepy mouse shows up shortly, and everybody but me leaves the party room to go dance by the stage. I could hear Happy Birthday being sung while I played on my phone. Thinking the room was empty, the kid runs in and grabs a piece of pizza and a handful of tokens. I screamed at him, "Dude, what the heck? I told you to get out of here." The kid turns around shocked to see me and gave me the middle finger and ran out, with the pizza and the tokens. I had enough. I called my mom back into the room and told her that the kid had stolen from us again, and she was pissed. She motioned for the same employee while I stalked out of the room to see if I could find the kid's mom. There were about 10 families in the restaurant at that time, and I asked each one if they had a son that wasn't around, because he was bothering our party. Nobody claimed the boy. Thinking that was odd and unable to find the kid, I head back to the party room to my mom and the employee. The employee says, "We can't seem to locate the boy's parents, and he can't leave without an adult." My manager called the police. This is actually more common than you think. Parents love leaving their young kids here unattended for us to babysit because they know kids can't leave without matching hand stamps. I started to tell my mom that I couldn't find the kid, but then I saw him on the dance floor, pushing my sister away from Chucky so he could dance next to him. My sister falls on her butt and starts to cry. Now, I'm extremely protective of my sister, so I ran over there and grabbed the kid by the arm to yell at him for hurting her. As soon as I touched him, a hand grabs my shoulder and spins me around. So I guess the kid's mom came back and saw me grab her boy. And of course, she screams at me saying, "What the hell do you think you're doing? Don't grab my kid." My mom and the employee runs over, and my mom says, "Don't grab my kid. Your son has been disturbing our birthday party this entire time, stealing food and tokens from us." The entitled mother huffs and says, "I told him he could join the party. What's one more kid? You people are all the same, not wanting the little black kid at your party." Now, my mom was very upset at this. She doesn't have a racist bone in her body, and she's kind to everybody that she meets. The employee and the creepy mouse try to intervene, stepping between the moms, and the employee says, "Ma'am, you are not supposed to leave your kid unattended here. You can't just leave the building. He's been disturbing other guests, and now he's pushed this little girl." The mom responds, "My son is the one who's being abused here. I saw this big kid assault him. You need to watch who you're talking to because I will sue this entire place for harassment if you don't give me some kind of compensation." The employee responds, "Ma'am, you can be here, but you have to stay with your son." My manager had to call the police because we couldn't find you and your son was left here alone. The entitled woman then screams, "You called the police? Seriously? He wasn't even alone for that long. I left him for what? 2 hours? He was with the birthday party. It's not like he wasn't being watched." My mom says, "He was not with our party. He was disturbing our party and stealing from us." So the employee trying to defuse the situation says, "Listen, I will tell my manager to cancel the police and all of you can stay, as long as you do not leave your son alone again." She then turns to my mom and says they'll work out some sort of compensation on her part, and the entitled mother loses it. She screams, "Why are you giving them something? Didn't you see their daughter assault my boy? I should be getting something out of this." My mom just wanted them to go away so that we could get back to our party, so she said, "Listen, I'm not mad that your son interrupted our birthday party. In fact, I would have had no problem sharing some pizza, as we have ordered so much. But the fact that you dumped him on us while you left for 2 hours is unacceptable. Just stay away from the party room so we can go back to my daughter's birthday." So the entitled mom scowls at my mom and says, "Your party is stupid anyway." She then grabs the kid and walks away. The employee apologized and came back with another bucket of tokens to compensate us for the ones that were stolen, and we assumed the issue was resolved. My sister perked up when my mom started to hand out tokens, and soon everybody scattered to play games. We were closing up the party and I was looking forward to going home. I decided to grab some leftover tokens and head off to play some zombie shooting game when I saw the entitled kid was still around, bugging the party kids for tokens. So minutes later, while I'm battling the undead, the kid runs by with a brightly wrapped box and joins his mom in a booth by the window. I noticed that he had actually stolen one of my sister's freaking presents, and he was starting to open it while his mom sat and watched. So I ran over to him, and by then, he had the whole package unwrapped and was scowling at the contents. He screams, "It's a freaking doll! I don't want this! I want something better!" I then reached them to snatch the doll away from him and said, "This is my sister's present. How the heck do you think you can go in there and open her presents?" The mom then says to me, "Listen, it's just one present. He wanted to see what it was. He wasn't gonna take it. Just let him open another one." I told her no, he can't get another one. These don't belong to him. The kid then takes off towards the party room, and I look at the mom before taking off after him, saying, "Seriously?" So I ran after the kid and found him grabbing a present. And that wasn't the worst part though. My sister's cake had been tossed on the floor by the table and was a chocolate heap of a mess. I grabbed the present from the kid and pushed him out of the room, and I panicked. My sister was going to be so upset to see her cake on the floor. Forgetting about the kid for a second, I flagged down the employee, told her what happened, and she promised to have another cake on the table before the party guests come back. Another employee quickly comes to clean up the mess, and true to her word, another cake was on the table before my sister returned. The employee then said that she was going to kick out the mom and the kid, and she left. My sister and her friends returned to the room 10 minutes later for cake and presents. I was still fuming, and so was my mom when I told her what the kid had done. But they were being kicked out, so we decided to let it go. My sister had no idea what happened, and even though the doll was not wrapped, she was thrilled to receive it. She opened her presents, and everybody ate cake without incident, and the party was finally winding down. So now, there was only one more thing for her to do. The Chuck E. Cheese had a ticket blaster, a tube that the kid stands in, and blasts of air shoot the tickets in the air around the kid, and they get to keep whatever they can grab in a certain amount of time. This was a part of our party package, and my sister was really looking forward to it. So the entitled mom comes back and says, "Hey listen, do you think my kid can get in there first? We have to leave soon, and it's the least you can do for being mean to him." The employee pulls her aside and says, "Ma'am, you were told to leave. I'm gonna have to go get my manager if you don't take your kid and leave immediately." Meanwhile, the kid is screaming, "Start this thing up, I want some tickets." He then pushes my sister aside and tried to close the door. My mom grabs her as the kid tries to close the door on her, while his mom is screaming, "Start it up right now so he can get some tickets." So at this point, the employee radios for the manager to come and help her. He says, "We're gonna have to call the police again, ma'am, if you don't leave. You are now trespassing." She says, "Like hell I am. I'm a customer, the same as these people." So the manager tells the mom that he has called the police again and that they're on their way. The kid refuses to exit the ticket blaster tube and was yelling obscenities at everybody, including the small kids. The parents of those kids took their kids back to the party room to get away from the scene, and my sister went with them crying again. Me and my mom stared down the entitled mother, telling her to get her brat and leave, which only made her madder. She screams, "Go ahead and call the damn police." She then called us a few choice names before deciding to grab her kid and leave before the cops arrived. So the funny thing is, as they were leaving, her son was screaming at her, calling her names and calling her a stupid bad mom, because she was making him leave without going into the ticket blaster. The manager follows behind them to make sure that they left and were finally gone. My sister came back out and had a blast in the ticket blaster. That made her happy, and all the past issues were quickly forgotten by her and her party guests. They picked out overpriced toys at the ticket counter, and we packed up the food and presents and got ready to leave. All in all, the kids managed to have a good time. Me and my mom, not so much. Chuck E. Cheese was kind enough to reimburse us for the total cost of the party, the food, the cake, and the tokens. The manager apologized for not handling the situation better and said that the mom and her kid were permanently banned from the location. It would have been so satisfying to watch her get arrested, but oh well. My friends, now that was a super crazy story. I wish it wasn't so easy to believe. The mom is definitely super entitled though. How the heck can you let your kid steal presents from another child and just watch? And how the heck did you leave your kid for 2 hours under the watch of a random family in a Chuck E. Cheese? I'm just baffled. I'm speechless. I'm feeling a lot of mixed emotions right now. I'm actually wondering how often she uses a Chuck E. Cheese as a daycare. Now listen, I don't want to say that she's a bad mom, but I might have to say that she's a bad mom. And that, my friends, brings us to another end of our slash, Entitled People. Guys, we made it. That was a super long story, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you missed the last episode of r/Entitled People, a woman steals a dog, and then calls the cops to arrest the owner because the dog bites her. Isn't that some ridiculousness? Guys, check it out if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you.